Here we are on the Nemetisena of Rome 1, and what we're going to be looking at is pike behavior. One thing that Rome 1 had that Rome 2 lacks is the Gourd Mode. And Gourd Mode allows your units to form a coherent line and just try to hold that line. If you turn Gourd Mode off, the unit is going to push forward and act more offensively. One thing you'll notice straight away is that pike units in Rome 1 were 50% larger than other infantry units. This allowed them to both use their 5 ranks deep formation to present 5 pikes to the front, and it also allows them to keep a wide enough front to avoid getting outflanked easily. So why the decision was made to not have pike units be bigger in Rome 2, I do not know, but I think that was a mistake. One of several mistakes in terms of how pike units are portrayed in Rome 2. So the pikes are now going to give the pikes attack orders on these chosen swords. The chosen swordsmen of Gaul in Rome 1, they were good units, but nowhere near the level of Oathsworn. They are more like good mid-tier sword infantry. Just no. They don't really stand a chance against the urban cohorts and the Praetorians, but they are good units. They are also more expensive than my phalanx pikes. And look at how my phalanx pikes are going to follow this unit now. They're able to fairly effectively track the chosen swords. The chosen swords are going to try to outflank me, but the pikes are going to at least somewhat effectively manage to track this unit. I'm going to give attack orders with my pikes. The pikes are going down, and they're going to be able to turn around and start doing a lot of damage to the chosen swords. Since they are fighting frontally with 5 pikes, even being in a formation as disorganized as this, they're going to do a lot of damage. Massive damage, actually. And they're going to push forward very effectively into the chosen swords. You basically have no hope of defeating a mid-tier pike unit frontally with anything, if they are 5 ranks deep in this game. They are very vulnerable to missiles, but you can see how well they push forward and how well they engage the chosen swordsmen of Gaul here. And this pushing behavior, the pushing mechanic, is almost completely gone from Rome 2.
The enemy's hearts are full of fear, and now they flee.
So formation attack in Gourd Mode, not the same thing. Formation attack, if you turn off formation attack, the pikes will not push forward, whereas they will if you turn off Gourd Mode. And having pikes, 5 pikes frontally makes them much more effective than having only 3 ranks frontally, because pikes in Rome 2, since they are the same unit size as other units, what you essentially have to do is either go wide to block off a larger portion of the battlefield, but then your pikes can get defeated frontally, or you can go narrow, but then you're not going to be able to block off a significant portion of the battlefield, and it's going to be super easy for the enemy to outflank you. So pikes were devastating and a lot of fun to play with in Rome 1, but in Rome 2 their role is unfortunately limited to that of a glorified picket fence, which is too bad, since pikes can potentially be great fun to play with. Strength and honor. Now we're going to be looking at pike behavior in Rome 2. Now what becomes apparent is that we don't have a Gourd Mode button. You only have formation attack, and formation attack for pikes units, if you turn it off, they will not push forward. The number of men in the unit, 120 versus 120, also in melee units, means that melee units are going to have an easy time flanking around the pikes. You also only have 3 pikes protruding from the front instead of 5, like in Total War. In Rome Total War, you have 5, and what's going to happen here is that I'm going to not be able to hold back the Oathsworn. I'm going to be able to cause some casualties here, but the Oathsworn are also going to be able to make it through my pikes, because I only have 3 pikes protruding from the front. So pikes are not able to hold very well frontally, and that is both because they lack the width to do so, and they only have 3 pikes protruding from the front. And as you can see, my pikes are not really being active in engaging these Oathsworn, and being so narrow means that the Oathsworn are going to be able to defeat the Pikes frontally. Now, it needs to be said that these Pikes cost less than 50% of what the Oathsworn cost. So the Oathsworn are still, this is a horrible trade for the Oathsworn. But the difference from Rome 1 is that these mid-tier Pike units are going to get defeated, and get defeated quite devastatingly frontally by Oathsworn, because they start wrapping around and because they make it through the Pikes. So half the Oathsworn unit remaining, the pikemen going down, and that is, although it's not a great trade for the Oathsworn, against human opponents they will basically never rush headlong into Pikes. And this result was made worse by the AI using Headhunt as well, tiring out its own troops. So I think having more men per Pike unit would be a very good change to Pikes. Also having longer Pikes would mean that the Pikes would be able to hold better frontally and have more men fighting. So you basically never should be able to charge Pikes frontally and come out on top. Strength and honor.